facials, RF microneedling, rejuvenating laser treatments to treat brown spots, wrinkles, texture, veins, and skin tightening. And now, the only facility in the area to offer non-surgical under-eye fat pad treatments. BeautyBarMedispa.com, Red Banks Road, Greenville. Go Pirates!
Love is never having to say you're sorry for your internet, because with MetroNet, you get fast, reliable, 100% fiber speeds you'll love with unlimited data, so you can stream, study, surf, and game on all your devices simultaneously. No lag times or buffering. MetroNet offers student deals. Get 100 megabit internet for just $39.95 a month. Switch to MetroNet today at metronet.com/switch. MetroNet. Love your internet.
Here today with Jeff Stein from Brown & Wood. Hey Jeff, how's inventory going?
Inventory levels are increasing. For the first time in over 45 days, we have Mazdas in stock, Buick in stock, Cadillac in stock, and GMC in stock. I highly encourage the customer to go to gmc.com, build and price their vehicle, share that with Brown & Wood, and let us place your order. We need some price protection for these customers, and you got to place an order to have that.
Brown & Wood, your #1 dealership in Greenville, and the home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Welcome to US Cellular, where new and current customers choose any phone they want for free.
Free? Even the one with 5G and lots of storage?
Free.
And the one with the latest everything?
Free.
At US Cellular, any phone you see is free, whether you're a new or current customer. US Cellular, America's locally grown wireless. Terms apply. See uscellular.com for details.
This is Brandon Tate, owner and operator of Atlantic Wireless, an authorized agent for US Cellular since 1997. Visit atlanticwireless.com to find the store near you. We go beyond the call.
This is Pirate Radio, WGHB Farmville, 1250 and 92.7 FM Greenville, WDLX Washington, 930 and 104.1 FM Washington. The following is an exclusive presentation of Pirate Radio, the voice of the pirate nation. This is Eastern Carolina's longest-running sports radio show. The Brian Bailey Show is on the air. The Brian Bailey Show is powered by Greenville Utilities and also brought to you by
Angus Grill, Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Papa John's, Pepsi, The Rick House, Greenville Utilities, BMS Builders, Seared Chop House, The Gavigan Agency, Taft and Hagler, Tiebreakers, and Greenville Auto World.
And now, here's Brian Bailey.
Happy game week, everybody. Finally, we all made it. We're finally into game week for East Carolina Pirate football. Pirates and the Wolfpack of North Carolina State set for Saturday at 12 noon. The Pack comes to town ranked 13th in the nation. Got a great way to kick off your game week here on Pirate Radio. Dave Doeren, the head football coach at North Carolina State, will join us coming up next. And then Blake Harrell live in the studio, defensive coordinator at East Carolina. As we get you ready for the Pirates and the Pack, going to be a great, great week. And it all kicks off on this Monday on the Brian Bailey Show. Coming up next.
East Coast Grading and Utilities is your source for clearing, hauling dirt, and concrete work. East Coast Grading and Utilities handles all sewer and water issues as well.
I'm David Bone. Whether putting in a new subdivision or helping you with any and all of your drainage problems, I can get the job done. Call me at 531-7494.
No job is too big or too small. East Coast Grading and Utilities. Friends helping friends. 531-7494 for East Coast Grading and Utilities. Safety comes first at Greenville Utilities. Did you know that by itself, natural gas is completely odorless? As a safety precaution, a chemical is added to the gas that gives it a distinctive and unpleasant odor. This allows you to detect the slightest amount of natural gas both indoors and outdoors. If you smell a strong odor of natural gas in or near your home, you should immediately call Greenville Utilities. GUC maintains staff around the clock in order to provide immediate response to emergencies such as natural gas leaks. You can count on GUC to keep safety job number one.
Better ingredients, better pizza, better brace yourself because this right here is a Papa John's Papa Bowl. No crust, just piping hot toppings and melty cheese in an oven-baked bowl. Better ingredients, better pizza, now in a bowl, Papa John's.
Hey, Pirate fans, brace yourself for the brand new Papa Bowls for only $7.99. The new Papa Bowls are an MVP move for game day or any day. Place your order online at papajohns.com and sign up for Papa Rewards. Papa John's, better ingredients, better pizza. Go Pirates!
At Bostic Sugg Furniture, we've lowered prices for some pretty big sales, but for our Labor Day sale, we've reduced them even more. Save on the most on-trend looks for your living room, dining room, and bedroom, and save up to 70% off clearance items store-wide. Plus, enjoy 12 months special financing. Sleep your best on a quality mattress for less. Plus, get 48 months special financing with no minimum purchase during the Labor Day sale. On now at Bostic Sugg Furniture.
Seared Chop House is Greenville's only true chop house. We're open 7 days a week. Seared combines a remarkable menu with an unrivaled atmosphere. Lunch or dinner at Seared is a quality-driven experience where we highlight a thoughtful approach to locally sourced ingredients and hearty, flavor-rich cuisine. We're firing up the grill at Seared, Greenville's only true chop house, located on Fire Tower Road at Bells Fork. Come see us at Seared 7 days a week.
Hi, I'm Ken Hagler of Taft and Hagler. We're proud to be sponsors of the Brian Bailey Show and the Pirate Nation on Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. If you've been injured on the job or due to someone else's negligence in an automobile collision, call us at 752-2000 for a free consultation with experienced professionals who care. Go Pirates!
This is Miles Barry, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, providing reliable utility solutions to the Greenville region since 1905. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to our show. As promised, to kick off game week, North Carolina State head football coach Dave Doeren joins us in his 10th year at North Carolina State. Coach, welcome to the show on this Monday.
Thank you, Brian.
When you look at this East Carolina-NC State football game, what are some of your initial thoughts?
Well, it's an in-state game with two experienced teams, very passionate fan bases, that don't get to play each other every year. So when we do get together, I know it's meaningful for both sides.
North Carolina State and East Carolina both had bowl games that really didn't materialize last year. East Carolina was in the Military Bowl, and you guys were across the country in the holiday. How frustrating was that not to get to play that game?
Yeah, it was disappointing to say the least, particularly, with it happening on game day the way it did. So, you kind of feel incomplete when you have a season like we did and not have a chance to finish what could have been a 10-win year, and for us at NC State, that's a pretty special thing. So, there was a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of fuel that came out of that to our off season, and for the guys, getting ready for this season, I think that carries a big chip with a lot of our players.
This East Carolina-North Carolina State matchup could be a battle of quarterbacks, and you know both of them very well. Obviously, when you look at the recruitment of Holton Ahlers, I was a part of that on the outside looking in, but I know North Carolina State came very close to luring Holton Ahlers over to North Carolina State. And you've got an outstanding quarterback, the 2022 ACC preseason player of the year in Devin Leary. So two really good quarterbacks going in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of respect for Holton. Really enjoyed getting to know him through the recruiting process. And obviously we have Devin here who's coming off a record-breaking season and has put himself in a position to play really good football this year. He's in great shape, so I look forward to watching both those guys play.
Some of the other connections, East Carolina and North Carolina State. Obviously, we start with head coach Ruffin McNeil from East Carolina. Your first 3 years, he was on the East Carolina sideline, and you brought him in there as a special assistant to the head coach. And I texted Ruff the other day. I told him I saw the ACC All Access piece, and really it tugged at your heart. But bringing Coach Ruff in is something special, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, Ruff is, he's a great friend. He's an incredible man. He's a great mentor to coaches, players, staff. Brings a lot of stories and energy and fun into the building, and we're fortunate to have him here. I know this is a meaningful game. All of them are, but for him, obviously playing against the place where he's the head coach and former athlete.
Yeah, we joked with him that he looks a little better in purple than he does red, but he smiled, and I know he really appreciates the opportunity, and he's been nothing but really supportive of you since he took over in that position in July of 2020, and coming off of COVID, and it was probably something that Ruff needed as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the game of football is in his blood, and he came home to, be a son to his dad and be a part of his life again, and this allows him to do both. And so, timing was right for him to come home, and we were fortunate here to be able to create a position that fit, kind of the workload he was able to take on and still be a part of his dad's, day when he needs to go see him.
Final question on Coach Ruff, but what does he do on game day with you? Does he get with you like during the game at halftime, kind of, guide you on some things?
Yeah, I'll talk to him in pregame and then on my way in at halftime, just what are you seeing type stuff, and, talk about our plan and things not to forget about. And, he just kind of gives me advice as a mentor, and, he's awesome to have down there on the field.
Got another former East Carolina coach on your staff, Brian Mitchell, with your cornerbacks. He was defensive coordinator here at East Carolina. How's he doing?
Yeah, it's great having Brian here. Brian and Coach Gibson were together at West Virginia, so there's very good continuity with those two. Understands the scheme and how he wants it played, and he knows the state of North Carolina, having spent the years that he did in Greenville. So it's good having him here, and, his working relationship, not just with me and Tony, but with Ruff. It's, there's a lot of continuity there.
You've got a freshman on your football team from J.H. Rose, and North Carolina State has a history with former rampant running backs, but I know you like Michael Allen.
Yeah, Michael's doing well. He's going to be a really good back for us here. Super intelligent young man. He's got good speed. He learns fast, very attentive, pays a lot of attention to detail for a young guy. It's impressive. So we're happy he's here and look forward to his future.
Some of your players were quoted this past week as saying that Coach Doeren is kind of working on what to expect on Saturday at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, the rowdy crowd and that kind of thing. What kind of things have you done at practice to try to get ready for that crowd?
We use music and crowd noise and different things to get, where they can't hear as well at times, and not the entire time, but, enough where it's a factor. That'll become more of a factor as we get into actual game week, but this first week's been more about the fundamentals and the install and letting those guys ask questions, using the noise when it was appropriate. But as we get into the actual week of the game, we'll get it pretty loud in there. I know that stadium can definitely make it hard to hear at times, and I know their fans will be excited for their opener.
North Carolina State leads the all-time series 18-13. You're 2-2 against the Pirates in your career. But when you look at this matchup this year, this season-opening matchup, do you like playing a rival in your first game, or is it more along the lines of, let's get through the first couple of games and get ready for conference play?
Yeah, I don't know if it matters. However they fall on the schedule, you got to play them, and for us, it's an opportunity to go on the road and play in a hostile environment, and that's a good thing. We're going to have a really hostile environment later in the year at Clemson and at Louisville, so, getting to do that early in the season is a good thing for our guys.
What are some of the things you've seen, Coach, on film about this East Carolina football team?
Well, they're experienced, like us. You can see they got a lot of guys back that have played. The defense, I think they're very active. They run around. They really show a lot of effort on film. They're multiple, a lot of pressures. The speed really kind of jumps off the film to me, watching their defensive side of the ball. The tailback's really impressive player. He's the one that, as I watched the season last year, is just a guy that we here really think a lot of.
When you look at the X's and O's of this matchup, what has to go right for North Carolina State to get a victory at Dowdy-Ficklin?
Oh, it comes down to not beating yourself, a lot of times, and turning the football over, having penalties that you can prevent, things like that. Outside of that, it's just execution. It's catching the football, it's tackling well, special teams playing clean. Sometimes in first games you have some special teams miscues that can hurt you. So, getting the team ready to go out there and play as well as we can, as clean as we can, and do those kind of things regardless. If it's the first, fifth, or last game of the year, usually come out on top.
Wolfpack went 9-3 last year, ranked 13th nationally. How have your Wolfpack team, how have they handled the hype of that national ranking?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, our guys have heard a lot about it, and we've talked a lot about it. They've openly talked about, not letting that kind of stuff get to us and not getting complacent and understanding that, last season's record's not going to win this year's games, and we got to get out on the grass and earn it. So, we think we've done a good job, staff and player alike, of dealing with the hype that came with last year's performances. So it's time to get after it and get out on the field, and that stuff will dissipate. You just going to go kind of earn your record as you go.
That's my next question. Can you believe it's finally here? It's finally game week, because it seems like it takes a long time to get here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, especially for teams that didn't get to play in a bowl. I mean, when you practice to play in a bowl and then you don't play the game, that's like 12 to 15 practices that don't have a game at the end, and then you have spring practice, 12 to 15 more practices without a game, and then you have fall camp. So I feel like we've been practicing a long time without an opportunity to play an opponent. So we're looking forward to getting this thing started.
All right, final thought about the heat. How hot will it be on Saturday?
I don't know. I'm not a weatherman. Yeah. I mean, whatever it is, we'll be ready for it and prepare for the worst. And if it's a hot one like we've experienced down there in the past, our guys will hydrate well leading up to it, and we'll have a plan going in on the right things to do.
All right, Coach, I know you're busy on game week, so we certainly appreciate your time. Thanks so much. You guys have a safe trip from Raleigh into Greenville coming up on Friday, and we'll see you on Saturday, East Carolina, NC State, in that noon start.
Thanks for having me. Go Pack.
Okay. Dave Doeren, the head football coach at North Carolina State. We'll take a break. Be back with more. Blake Harrell, defensive coordinator at East Carolina, is up next. Back with more on the Brian Bailey Show after this.
Hi, this is Jeff Charles, and this is a Pirate Radio Sports Break presented by Ron-Ayers Motorsports, Highway 11, north of the airport in Greenville. It's game week. The Pirates open the football season Saturday at 12 noon in Greenville against number 13 NC State. Both teams are coming off winning seasons. ECU was 7-5, the Wolfpack 9-3. Over the weekend, North Carolina beat Florida A&M 56-24, and Charlotte lost to Florida Atlantic 43-13. Those two teams join ECU in the American Athletic Conference next year. The Orioles lost to the Astros 3-1. Alex Bregman hit number 20 for Houston. The Yankees lost to the A's 4-1. The Braves lost to the Cardinals 6-3. The Nationals beat the Reds 3-2. Patrick Corbin the win. He's 5-17 for the 43-85 Nationals. NFL preseason yesterday. Steelers 19, Lions 9, Jets 31, Giants 27. This has been a Pirate Radio Sports Break.
Where can you go where the beer is cold? Friendship is forever. Pabst is the place that's in our hearts, where we can be together.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. This is the place.
Hey, Pirate fans, get stocked up for tailgating season with PBR at your favorite retailer. Look for the QR code on the PBR display and register for a chance to win a PBR cooler full of beer. Game day or any day, all Pirates prefer PBR.
Hi, I'm Annalie Newhoff.
And I'm Rob Campbell.
And we are with CopyPro. We have been locally owned and operated here in Eastern North Carolina for almost 50 years. CopyPro is the leader in office technology.
Does your business struggle with keeping printing costs low or producing professional documents? Here at CopyPro, total customer satisfaction is our #1 priority.
We have a variety of solutions to help reduce your printing expenses and make your business more productive. Call us today at 1-800-682-6558 or online at copypro.net.
CopyPro. We are the professional office systems people.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop.
The Rick House is Eastern North Carolina's premier American-style restaurant and bourbon bar. Join us at the Rick House for mouth-watering steaks and made-from-scratch pastas. Check out the 16-ounce cowboy steak or the seafood delight pasta. Join us for our legendary brunch on Sundays from 10 to 2. The Rick House can feed your larger crowds with off-site catering and room for 125 in our adjacent banquet hall. The Rick House, American Provisions and Spirits, 710 Red Banks Road beside the bowling alley in Greenville.
This is Amanda Houston, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation. Go Pirates!
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community owned, community powered. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back live in the studio now. I want to thank Dave Doeren for joining us in that recorded interview from late last week. But we have Blake Harrell live in the studio with us as we get the state side, we get the East Carolina side. And can you believe it, Coach, that we are finally into game week? I mean, it seems like it's taken forever to get here, and now the game's just a couple of days away.
Yeah, finally game week. So exciting for Pirate Nation in Greenville. It seems like it's been forever since we played football, and I think 30-something weeks, and we're finally here.
When you guys are at practice and things, you know, the camp is a grind and that kind of thing, but you know, you can almost see it in the guys' eyes that they know the future's coming. They know that game is coming, but sometimes it seems like it's never going to get there.
Yeah, sometimes you just sit around and you're like, oh, man, is it ever going to get here? Is it ever going to be, day after day? It's kind of like Groundhog Day. But, our guys have been really good this August, and probably one of the better camps I've been around, just motivation every day, come to work and finding ways to get better. And part of that is because of who we have on our schedule game one and the challenge we have ahead of us and the focus they have for that and the challenge that they want to rise to for that day.
We'll take your questions or comments on our Facebook live feed. If you have anything for Coach Harrell, I'll be glad to pass it along. North Carolina State comes to town ranked 13th in the AP preseason poll. The Wolfpack obviously had a great year last year. Like East Carolina, didn't get a chance to play in their bowl game. They were trying for a 10th win, which we all know is really special, especially at East Carolina or at an NC State. But the Wolfpack comes to town as a double-digit favorite in the game. But you kind of get the feeling that they understand they're walking into a hornet's nest.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a double-digit favorite, so I appreciate letting me know that on Monday. So, but yeah, they're a really good football team and worthy of every bit of credit they're getting. And Devin Leary's a really good quarterback, and they got some offensive weapons in that team.
When you look at Devin Leary, the 2022 ACC preseason player of the year, what kind of quarterback is he, and how does he compare with say, a Holton Ahlers? What are their similarities? What are their differences?
Yeah, I mean, both are veteran quarterbacks. Both can, run their offenses, and Devin's got a really good arm. We can keep comparing him to Devin Ritter, who we saw, the last game of the season last year, and just was, I think maybe the projected start for the Falcons right now. But Leary's, he's got an NFL arm talent. He can sling it down the field and make all the throws.
Is he the type of quarterback that you want to get pressure on, that that's one of the keys? And you got to bring that pressure from all over the place.
And I think that for us, that's all quarterbacks. We want to, make them pressure and get rid of it quick, make some bad decisions, and certainly that's the same with him.
Yeah, and you've got some of the guys, you've got some of the parts in the toolbox to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of, in our philosophy and our MO just to kind of, move around, sun around, bring pressures from different places, try to make quarterbacks uncomfortable, and try to affect the game there.
We're going to go through each one of the positions on that defense with Blake Harrell and kind of get his thoughts as we get set for opening day. Someone just wrote in, wanted to know who the starting corners might be. What are you looking at cornerback right now?
Yeah, well, you got Malik Fleming back, right, who started every game for us last year. Malik's, I think he's going in his third or fourth year. I guess fourth year now.
Been here a long time, it seems like.
You get all lost with COVID sometimes, but and Malik's been solid out there at field corner for us. DeMel Hickman is going in his fourth year as well, and him and Jawan Powell are two guys that have been battling out there at corner in the boundaries. So all three of those guys are going to play. Apri Washington's an older guy that transferred in from Buffalo that we'll see out wide as well. So even though we may have a new name in place of Jaquan McMillan, we got some older guys that are fourth-year players, fifth-year players that we can put out there at corner.
While you're in the defensive backs, and take us through the safety room right now.
Yeah, the safety room is pretty exciting. You get some new names, you got some old names. You got field safety. You got Sean Dorso, who started a bunch of games for us. Julius Wood is another name that started a few games at the end of the season last year. Julius, long, athletic, can run. So I'm really excited about both those guys at the field safety. At boundary safety, Tegan Wilk and Jaira Wilson, whose two names that we always talk about. And, both those guys have been solid and continue to be solid throughout camp. Just older guys that lead our team, lead our defense. And then at our Sam position, our nickel position, you either see Jaira or Gerard Stringer, who are two older guys as well.
And with those defensive backs, I mean, you have your starters, but you have so many that you count on because you've got different, when it's 2nd and 9, it's a different defense out there than when it's 2nd and 2.
Yeah, one of the things we did last year, we played about 22 guys a game, 20 to 22 guys a game. I think we had about 15 or 16 guys start throughout the season for us. So we have a lot of guys with experience. And it helps them keep fresh in the fourth quarter, down the stretch when you might be tired, the offense a little bit tired, and now you're fresh defensively and you can still attack. So that's been good for us. And just, getting guys experience is really last year is going to help us this year as well.
When you talk defense at East Carolina, if someone could describe your defense in a word or two, what do you want them to describe it as?
We talk to our guys all the time. We don't want our guys to, somebody watch our film and say, hey, you're a multiple 3-4 defense, quarters coverage, you bring this pressure, bring that pressure. We want to talk about the style of play we play with. Guys are playing fast. They're playing physical. They're playing with passion. They're playing with energy. They love playing the game, and they're swarming to the ball. So that's the things we talk about.
When you got here at East Carolina, obviously it was after year one for Coach Houston. Coach Houston's in his 4th year, you're in your 3rd year. But when you got here, when you interviewed with Coach Houston, what were some of the things you sold him on, and what were some of the things you saw when you first got here 3 years ago?
I think the first thing you do when you walk on campus here and you walk into Dowdy-Ficklin is just a wow factor, and you just say this place is special. And just knowing that what Coach Houston's done everywhere he's been, and I've been with some of those stops with him, and just the type of ball he wants to put on the field and the product he wants to put on the field. Our philosophies match up, and always have over the years. And we just talked about those things and talked about, what we foresee this defense being and our goals as a program, our goals as a defense, and how we need to get those things done. So all that matched up. It was really, fairly easy with all that.
As you're trying to call defensive signals, I know you've got the headset on. You're with Coach. Does Coach interject things in, and are y'all talking as you try to get? And how does all that get out to the players?
Yeah, you do it a lot of different ways. Throughout the week, Coach is always around, and he's always giving you his feedback and how he sees things, and that's very important because sometimes you can be in your little cubicle, so to speak,
right,
and you only see it one way, and then Coach walks in, he sees it different ways, and some ways you can do it differently or better, and same thing on game day. So sometimes you get caught of maybe you're just worried about the defense, or you're worried about that series or that 3rd down stop, and he may see a bigger picture of how the game is really flowing. So you've always, that's always good to have him in your ear, so to speak, and his advice and deal there.
Talk about that game flow a little bit before we go through some of the other personnel, but the game flow, 1st and 10, you got, a play is run. Now you're at 2nd and 5. What all has to happen to get that defense set? And it all changes because if it was 2nd and 15, it'd be completely different.
Yeah, I don't like the fact you started off with 2nd and 5.
Let's go 2nd and 15. You're right. You didn't give up 5 yards on 1st down, did you? No. That's not even right, is it?
That's right. Maybe 2nd and 9. Second
9.
We'll take that.
All of a sudden, it's 2nd and 9. There you go.
Yeah, but the beauty of it is our players are so used to those situations and being in that. Just from experience or practice situations that, hey, if it's 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 15, they're already knowing what to expect.
So they almost know what's going to happen before it's even called.
And not only from a call standpoint, the defensive call coming in, but also what to expect from the offense. And we tell our guys all the time, like, we want you guys to think like coaches.
Right.
And if you're thinking like coaches, you already know what play calls coming in and a menu of 4 or 5 calls here that could come in, and by the call what you're expecting to and how to go execute it.
And you use the word think, but it's almost like on defense, once they get everything figured out as far as before the play starts, then you don't want them thinking, do you?
No, that's
no thinking allowed.
That's what we talk about. Just, hey, go react. Don't overthink it. Let's go play.
Yeah, and I've heard that from so many defensive coaches through the years. They'll say, everybody's thinking and trying to figure this and this out, but we want them just to be free and easy and just go to the ball. And that's one thing. I've been out to a bunch of practices this summer, and really the defense has been flying to the ball all summer long.
And that's what you try to do. Keep things so simple that it takes the thinking out of it. And now it's just routine that they can fly around and play fast and go be who they are.
And when you look at the personnel, and we'll go through it later on in the show, but really you have so much experience in each and every slot, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and the kids said it. Our players said it, I think, week 1 of preseason camp. So, hey, this is our year. This is our year to run things and do things. It's no longer you have to hold their hand and walk them through it. They're truly checking things, setting things, running the defense. So it's really a relief.
And when you're in camp, you get a little chippy between the offense and defense, don't you?
Well, it's just like day after day after day. You're seeing the same opponent over and over and over, and Holton and Rossi, all those offensive weapons over there coming at you. So, if one side of the ball gets the upper hand, that they obviously got to let the other side know about it. And that's just friendly locker room talk too.
And when you look at some of the weapons that you've had to deal with, obviously that's going to, make you guys better. The saying "iron sharpens iron," and there's some really good players in that Pirate offense.
Yeah, no question. And just any time that you're stressed every day, and it makes you work, whether it's the receiving core, the tight end room, the O-line, quarterback, running backs, whoever it may be, it's going to make you better defensively. It's going to make sure you got everything covered up. You're able to play all those different weapons over there, and they've done a great job of attacking us this fall.
And pretty much now you're kind of through with the ones versus ones, right?
Thank goodness.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm tired of seeing Holton Ahlers. Holton's a special quarterback that, sometimes when you're in a game, it's you against the offensive coordinator, so to speak, and that's who you're really calling plays against. But when Holton's out there, Holton, he has the ability to check them in the right certain plays and get them in certain looks. And it's really you against Coach Kirkpatrick, Coach Holton, all that kind of stuff. So he's really special about that, and does a really nice job of running that offense. And he stressed us defensively.
Yeah, when you guys are in a scrimmage type situation, you're watching Holton, make those checks. You're like, come on, give us a break, man. Come on.
Yeah, sometimes in practice we don't have that play clock out there either. So
that's right.
He gets to take his time.
So he's taking his time.
The exact right play.
He's googling up something on his phone.
Yeah, he's drawing in the dirt back there. And
he's trying to get.
He does a really good job, though. Just really impressive. The field general he is.
Yeah, and really, like I said, being out there and seeing some of the scrimmage, type plays and some of that other stuff. I mean, it's really mind-boggling what all a quarterback has to go through when he looks at that defense.
Yeah, and he's done a good job with it, and I think he's prepared us of, hey, how we got to hide certain things, how we got to rotate certain things, and I think probably vice versa as well.
Blake Harrell, defensive coordinator at East Carolina, live in the studio with us. We'll take your questions and comments on our Facebook Live page. We'll take a commercial break right now and come back with more as game week kicks off. Coach Harrell's with us. Back with more after this.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers in Greenville, plus the all-new Tiebreakers in Winterville, do real burgers better than anybody. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, real burgers at its best. Everybody loves burgers.
Your vehicle is a big part of your life. That's why you should trust the team at Greenville Auto World for all your vehicle needs. Greenville Auto World believes in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Visit GreenvilleAutoWorld.net to see their fully stocked inventory of SUVs, trucks, and cars. Need a lift kit, custom rims, or wheels? Greenville Auto World can upgrade your vehicle today. For sales or service, visit Greenville Auto World on Highway 43 in Greenville.
The Angus Grill is your premier spot for the best burgers, cheesesteaks, and brisket sandwiches around. Join us for our unmatched variety of burger combinations. From the mushroom bacon Swiss burger to the jalapeno popper burger to the original Angus classic. Pair that burger with our amazing onion rings, tots, fries, or sweet potato fries. Angus Grill, with 4 amazing locations in eastern North Carolina, including Winterville near Pitt Community College, on Jarvis Street in uptown Greenville, and on Statensburg Road near the hospital. It's the best burger around, guaranteed.
This isn't your regular cola, so this isn't your regular cola ad. No beach parties or family barbecues here, just Nitro Pepsi, the first cola ever infused with nitrogen. So forget everything you thought you knew about soda, because that nitrogen gives us a whole new experience. Think an infusion of smaller bubbles for a cola that's got a lighter, smoother texture. And don't get me started on the pour. You don't pour this like any other cola. We're talking turn the can completely upside down and watch as those bubbles cascade into the glass to create a frothy, luxurious foam topping. Can your cola do that? I didn't think so. Unless you've got your own Nitro Pepsi, in which case cheers to your great taste. Because you already know that the only thing better than the pour is the unapologetic cola taste. What else is there to say? From the creamy foam to the smooth texture to its unbelievably delicious flavor, this is cola like you've never had it before. Time to bring your taste buds to the next frontier. Nitro Pepsi. Smooth, creamy, delicious.
It's bow time. So it's game time and you got a bunch of rabid fans.
Dad, we're hungry.
You head out to fire up burgers and dogs and go from grill master to MVP. Then you realize you're out of GAS. Yup, out of gas on game day. What do? Drop a big bow box on it. Game on. Feed a family of 4 with 8 pieces of chicken, biscuits, fixins, and tea. It's bow time.
This is Brian Packard, ECU former baseballer. You're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities. Community-owned utilities mean local control, low rates, and high reliability. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back as we kick off our game week. East Carolina and North Carolina State set for 12 noon ESPN coverage. If you can't make it to the game, tickets are still available, so try to get out there and get your tickets and get to the stadium. Dowdy Ficklin will be rocking, striping the stadium. They've only done it once before, and it looked great. So find out which section you're in, whether you wear purple, whether you wear gold. I know a lot of folks like to wear purple, but for the striping, you got to figure out what section you're in.
That's right.
And then go from there. But when you look at this matchup, and Drew has asked a question on our Facebook Live page, wants to know what worries you most about the State offense. Is it the quarterback, or is it something else, just a combination?
Yeah, I think their offense starts with the quarterback and Devin Leary, and just the arm talent he has, able to make all the throws down the field, and they'll protect him in there and let vertical balls down the field and let it fly. So they're a little different than a lot of offenses where they only take, some offenses might take 1 or 2 shots a game, and if you have it covered, they don't come back to it. These guys will keep coming back to it, and that's kind of part of their offense. So I think it starts with him and trying to get him off his schedule and get them behind the sticks a little bit. I think they do a really good job in the screen game as well. A lot of people talk about the run game. I think their screen game is part of the run game, whether it's the tailback out of the backfield or just, getting out to the receivers pretty quick. They've done a good job with that.
And the problem is when you're trying to get heat on the quarterback and you got a team that does really well in the screen game, that's kind of what they try to lure you to that spot, and then they throw the screen pass and you pop one.
There's no question. And they do it with different guys, whether it's the tight end, the tailback, the wide out. So there's different ways they can get to it. And they got different ways that, they may have a deep ball on one side and a screen ball on the other side. So they got different ways they can get to it.
How much film have you watched as far as just all the games from last year? Is it mainly the tail end of the season that you look at?
Yeah, you go through it, and they had 12 games. They got the spring game. You go through all that film and kind of sort out who fits you best defensively, or where you think maybe they fell into a rhythm offensively. That maybe sometimes at the beginning of the year, offensive play caller or his personnel isn't quite fitting and quite gelling yet. Maybe later in the year they get to gel a little bit better, and you kind of have a better feel for who they are offensively. So you got to go back through it, pick and choose, and maybe take a little bit from this game or a little bit from that game and put it all together.
All right, let's go back through the personnel. Let's go to the linebackers, because really I think when you think about this defense, I don't know if you want to say it's the strength of the defense, but there's some names that you've heard for a long, long time. And those guys, you see an Xavier Smith, you see a Miles Berry. I mean, these guys have played a long time. They're very experienced and very good.
Yeah, really excited about Xavier and Miles. And those are 2 guys, like you said, very experienced, played a lot of snaps at linebacker, and Mike and Will, and Xavier played some outside linebacker last year, so they understand the defense. They know what we're looking for. They know the expectations. They know how to run the defense out there, and just really excited about those 2 guys and what they're going to do this fall for us.
Talk about Jeremy Lewis a little bit, because I just think that, when he gets loose on that edge, somebody in red is going to figure out where he's at.
Yeah, Jeremy, he can be a guy that makes things happen.
Right.
And whether it's, dropping in the coverage, coming off the edge, pass rushing, whatever it may be, he's a different guy. And, I think playing tight end when he first got here has probably helped him defensively develop as far as knowing what offenses are going to do, how they're going to try to attack you. And then we saw him last year. That was really his first season at defense. You saw him each game get better and better. And by the end of the season, I think he came around and developed into a defensive player that was an all-around good player.
And when you look at a kid like that who did play offense when he first got here, and he played both obviously in high school at South Central, but as you said, he played tight end, so he kind of knows the routes that a tight end might run, and down in distance, he kind of has that in his head too. And
right, because he's seen it from a different viewpoint,
right,
seen it from a different other side of the ball, and understands like, hey, it's 3rd and 5 where those routes were going, and now he's kind of just taking that to the defensive side of the ball and really brought a good, I think he makes us more versatile defensively.
Yeah,
too.
I was going to say, could you move him around some and try to disguise where he's at and what he's going to do?
We do, and the biggest thing, from my first year here to last year was he allowed us to drop that guy more and play more coverage with him and bring him off the edge, do some stuff like that. Where, in 2020 we weren't able to do that, but he allowed us to do that in 21.
And when he's on that edge, the opponent doesn't know whether he's coming or whether he's backing up, and that's a key to your defensive, because if he backs up and somebody comes from the other side, then
yeah, you just kind of want to bluff and disguise and not always give away your hand there, and he does a good job with that.
Yeah. I'm amazed, before we go through any more of the personnel, I've always been amazed at how the signals come in and the teams that have the big poster boards with all the different things on them, and what all has to come in for the play to be called?
Signals. It used to be you didn't worry about people stealing signals, or back in the old days we'd run somebody in offensively and run them off the field.
Right.
That's how the plays got in, and even defensively back then when offenses were huddling, defenses huddled.
Right.
So you only gave the play to one guy, and he's the only guy had to know the signal, and he turned around and tell the rest of the defense to signal, and boom, you break, and it's a nice slow game, and I think the NFL still has that to some point because they got the headsets in that they get to use. So for us now, it's every guy on the field has to get their attention to the sideline. All 11 players. First of all, they have to do is find the football. Where's it at? Right hash, left hash. Make sure we're aligned in our deal there, our set, and then from there, we're going to have a board covering the signals up. And not necessarily for. There's two reasons you want to cover the signals up. One is just so the guys in the press box don't see it, but also TV copies.
Right.
You got coaches going back and watching TV copies and seeing signals and saying,
right,
okay, we're going to match play 5 up with play 5, and
right,
here's the signal we got. So boom, and as coaches, we make sure we have different ways to signal in the same call. So
right,
if we're signaling in, our base call, we're going to have 3 or 4 different ways to signal that in. So that's the standard every week, and we will have a couple different signal callers. We'll change those up throughout the game. So it's a whole huge process compared to what
it's fascinating, really.
Yeah, it's but you got to do it, because if you're sitting there just telling the other team, other side of the ball, what you're going to do, then you're giving them an advantage.
So you got all 11 looking at your sideline, and then the offense sometimes will rush to the line of scrimmage. They'll call a couple signals, they'll clap their hands, and then they'll stop, and then they'll look to their sidelines.
Yeah.
And you guys are looking. Your guys are looking back to your sidelines. Hey, we changing anything? Are we sticking with what we got?
Yeah. So sometimes if they get a beat,
do you change sometimes?
So you have to, and you got to be careful with it too, because. Larry will get up there, he'll give them a fake clap, and then they'll look to the sidelines, and they may change the call, or he may just be faking looking to the sideline and snap the ball while he's trying to catch you guys looking too. So they've got a couple of those snaps in there as well. Man. But it's a whole cat and mouse game there.
It is, and it's just really it's just trying to get everybody lined up, and why they're lined up here and where they lined up, and it's not like the old days. 4-3 defense, and you play 3 linebackers, 4 down linemen, and go from there.
That's it. Back in the day, you had about 5 calls, and you got a minute and gave it to them early, and they had plenty of time to think of it. And now you're trying to match the call for the offensive formation or personnel set. So you're kind of holding it a little bit. So as soon as they get the call, they got to think about it, bang, know it, and jump to it.
All right, talk more about your linebacking core. Who are some of the players, maybe some of the young kids that might see some action?
Yeah, I think a new guy, not necessarily a young guy, but Chance Bates is a transfer from Kennesaw State. I actually worked with him when I was there. He came in. He's a 5th year, was a 4-year starter there. And just really excited about him. He's came in, and he's right there with X and Miles, and just plays at that level of football. So he's played a lot of snaps, and you can't take away experience. So he'll be out there for us. Taylor Jackson's a younger guy. He's going in his 3rd year. I say younger guy.
I know. Isn't that something?
He's been around and doing a good job. Mike Edwards is another young guy that he was a starter at Georgia Southern last year. Started in 6 games there last year. Played over 500 snaps. But he gives us some depth in the linebacker room. So really excied about that room.
And you got the kids from West Craven on that defensive.
Yeah, the Mims brothers.
Yeah.
So Chandre and CJ, they're doing a great job. And Chandre, just for him to come in and, the last 2 weeks I've really seen him blossom and grow, and just kind of the light bulbs bang clicking for him, and he's got some good twist to him, get off, and they're really excited about him.
Yeah, and that's on the defensive line. When you think about that defensive line, talk about some of those players a little bit.
Yeah, Elijah Morris is probably where you always start.
Man, he's something else.
Yeah,
his whole story is really cool.
The story and just the way he plays the game, is he going to be undersized? Yeah, sure. But the way he plays and just kind of he plays the way we want to play and does things the way we want to do things. There's a program, and just really excited about him. Deontay Johnson's doing a really good job up there. Xavier McGyver, J.D. Lampley, Surratt Ware, all those guys. And I'm not giving you any new names outside of J.D. or Chandre that haven't played for us. So, just they all have snaps. They've all played in games. Chandre was a all-conference player there at Charleston Southern. And, J.D.'s probably the new guy to the room, but as a freshman, he's stepping in and doing some things and catching people's attention. So really excited about his future.
And Coach Tesh, he talks about how he's like a hockey coach because he brings a new line in all the time and just throws them in there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
line change
strategy to that too. Every time that offense subs, it allows you a chance to substitute.
Right.
And when you substitute, now the offense has to wait for you to get on and get off. So sometimes, especially if you're facing a tempo team, it slows them down a little bit and gives you time to catch your breath and get some fresh guys on the field.
And you really got to do anything you can, especially if the snowball starts going downhill. You got to slow them down somehow.
Yeah, and that's one way we take advantage of it there. And and it's also a chance for you. Maybe it's third down, you got a guy that you feel like's a better pass rusher than maybe a run stopper you got on the field. So it's a chance for you to change personnel there too.
Yeah, I tell you, it's just trying to keep all that stuff straight. I know you got a great bunch of assistant coaches that we've gotten to know over the last couple of years, but it's really. And I talk about this about coaching staffs anyway, but it's a family affair. I mean, you guys and the offensive coaches may have battled all camp long, but now you're on the same team again. But those defensive coaches, I mean, you guys got to be on the same page.
The same page, and everybody's working together, and we all know, hey, when you can sub, when you can't sub, what kind of play call we got coming in, and we talk about those things all throughout the week, and just different situations that could come up.
When you look at that defensive line, what is the strength of that line?
Yeah, I would say the depth. That's what stands out to me, the depth and the experience that we have up front, that those guys have played. They're not walking in their first ball game. And, and they play the game the way we want to play. They play physical up front. They try to knock guys back. And just, I think we're doing a better job, too, of getting quicker and moving around better. And I feel like we've increased our speed up front.
And Coach says that this looks like an American Athletic Conference football team now, and all that starts on the line.
Yeah, no doubt. And certainly, compared to 2020 to now, it's night and day. Just, hey, we look more like we belong in the American Conference.
And those 2008, 2009, I think, Conference USA Championship teams for East Carolina, led by big, strong defensive linemen that, Linball Josephs and C.J. Wilsons. Yeah. I mean, they had some, real studs on those defensive lines. And really, that's where championships are won, defensive line and offensive line.
Yeah, you win the game up front.
We'll change subjects just real quick before we go to break, but the offensive line at East Carolina, it's got to be the best that Coach Houston's had since he's been here, and you've gone against it all summer.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they're a very impressive group, and they come off the ball and move bodies around, great in pass protection. So they've stressed us up front, and just part of the offensive attack that I feel really excited about and dealt with all camp. Yeah. and glad we're not dealing with them anymore.
And more than any group, but that group has to be on the same page as far as the old Ruffin McNeil saying that 5 pennies doesn't work. It's got to be a nickel, and that's
yeah, no doubt.
You got to figure that out.
And if you think about what we try to do offensively, defensively, we try to go attack different parts of the offensive line and try to get them on different pages, maybe show them one look and give them another look. And you're exactly right. An offensive line has to be all together.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing that Pirate defense because you guys flew around all summer long, and that's got to be a good feeling for you.
Yeah, just exciting because it's now the culture that they know how to play the game. Now we just got to go out and execute and play at a high level.
And that's the other thing. When we were out there, you never saw guys hanging their heads. You never saw bad body language like, I'm tired or I don't want to be here. Those guys all look like, hey, man, this is another chance to be together, another chance to practice. And
that's right.
Yeah.
My first year here, I think we part of our defense side of the ball meetings were about bad body language or how we want to react to things. We have to do that at all this camp.
Yeah.
And that's really, now you're coaching at the finer details of things at the higher level classes.
And it makes a huge difference. But I guess it's all in the culture of the program. And guys, they didn't know any better when Coach Houston got here.
Yeah.
And then Coach Houston changed things pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then you came in year 2.
Yeah, Coach Houston just the job he's done in changing the program and changing the cultures. That's first and foremost. None of it defensively, offensively wouldn't matter without that. The fact that he's done that and what he's done in his time here allows everything to go smoother defensively.
He talks about a lot that the last time that he faced North Carolina State was his first game as the head football coach, and he said it wasn't competitive. 34-6 was the final, and he joked. He said we're a lot different now, but he said State's a lot different now too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So we'll see how that plays out. All right, Blake Harrell live in the studio with us, taking your questions and comments on our Facebook Live page. We'll take a commercial break right now. We'll come back, then we'll wrap things up in this edition of the Brian Bailey Show for you. Coming up, hey, it's game week. Back with more after this.
BMS Builders is your premier custom builder in eastern North Carolina. With homes in Blackwood, Mills Creek, Dalton's Cove and Farmville, and Belmar and Ayden, they're constantly expanding. Now to Laurel Glen and Sarah's Way, plus the new duplex community at Abigail Trails. BMS Builders can build the home of your dreams. Just ask Dr. Dennis Ross in Greenville or ECU football coach Mike Houston. They built their homes, and they can build yours as well. Call 916-1578 for BMS Builders.
Hey Pirate Nation, this is Holton Ahlers, and when it comes to getting your family together, there's no better place than Familia, which is Italian for family. Familia is the place I like to bring my football family, especially my offensive linemen. Whether it's great New York-style pizzas, homemade meatballs, lasagna, chicken parmesan, or delicious homemade desserts, Familia is a winning play every time. For dine-in or takeout, make Familia your go-to play when you have a hungry team. Familia on Fire Tower Road near Pitt Community College. Go Pirates!
Do you have an old injury or just some pain that keeps holding you back? It's time for you to get better. With Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness, we can help you get your life back. Whether you need to get back to a sport, back in the gym, or just back to enjoying life, our team of specialists use a one-on-one, hands-on approach in our state-of-the-art facility to get you back moving again. Don't settle for where you are. Don't stay in pain. Visit kptonline.com today to see how Kinetic Physical Therapy and Wellness can help you live well, move more, and hurt less.
Christie's Europub is the perfect place to relax, grab a bite, and enjoy a drink. Located in the heart of Greenville and just a few blocks from ECU's campus, Christie's offers lunch, dinner, and late night with live music every Sunday. Come and have brunch Monday through Friday from 11 to 3 or Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 4. Scratch cooking takes time, so relax and enjoy a pint at Christie's Europub today. For the latest information, check them out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or visit them online at christieseuropub.com. The Wood Ducks are back at Granger Stadium this upcoming week for the final homestand of the season, August 30th through September 4th. There will be post-game fireworks on Friday, sponsored by WNCT Channel 9 and ENC Media. The final jersey giveaway will be on Saturday to the first 1,000 fans, sponsored by Down East Heating and Air, and pre-game autographs with the team. There will be a jersey auction through the Live Source app of the Wood Ducks original green jerseys. The auction will end at the conclusion of the game on Sunday. Get your tickets now. Go Woodies!
Hello folks, this is Jamie Lane with Carolina Hardscapes and Mulch. We believe that making memories with your family and friends is what life is all about. If you have a dream of having a backyard patio, fireplace, pool, walkways, fire pits, or more, then Carolina Hardscapes is the place to call at 364-1201. You can stop by our outdoor showroom on Fire Tower Road across from Bostic Sugg Furniture. At Carolina Hardscapes, we look forward to making your backyard the place to be. Find us on the web at carolinahardscapesandmulch.com.
This is Carson Wissenhunt, and you're listening to Pirate Radio, the voice of the Pirate Nation.
You're listening to The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, working for our community, not for shareholders. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to our show. Got about 10 minutes to go with Blake Harrell live in the studio this afternoon as we kick off our game week coverage right here on Pirate Radio, Clip Rock and Company. We'll have the Bud Light pregame tailgate coming up on Saturday, 8 a.m. So make sure you join them for game day coverage all day long right here on Pirate Radio. Big party coming up. Are tickets still available? Or if I invite everybody, people going to come? There you go. Punch those buttons up and get that
getting
microphone.
low.
Getting low on tickets?
Yeah.
Party of the year every year on Thursday night. You don't have anything going on Thursday night, do you? You're not getting ready for anything, are you?
I can't think of anything that I have going or anything that's going on in town Thursday night at all.
Oh, man. Thursday night's going to be crazy around town, but that's going to be a good time with the Pirate Radio party. Always a great, great time. Always the party of the year. We missed that a couple of times, I guess, through COVID, but we're back, and that should be an exciting time. East Carolina and North Carolina State. When you get... you've been in a long time, but still, on game day morning, when you wake up, do you have butterflies right away?
Yeah, I think, I'll say this. Having our players and the confidence in those guys, it takes a lot of that away.
Yeah.
But you still have just your normal, what could go wrong, what could go right, those type of things. What's going to happen in this situation, what's going to happen in that situation. But I have, total confidence in our players that they're going to go out and do a great job and put us in the best position to go win a football game.
So on game day, how early do you get up and how early do you get to the stadium? 6, 7?
We, I stay in that hotel with the players the night before.
Okay.
So, obviously for a noon kickoff, you're up fairly early. But I usually try to find some time. It's going to be tough with a noon kickoff. We try to find some time to get a little workout in, take your mind off things, and just get going from there.
Yeah, and then you get over to the stadium, and you guys get on the field. 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And
yeah, so if it's a noon kickoff, that we'll be out there for pregame 10:30.
Yeah,
the kids will have the guys will have a chance to go out there a little earlier than that, just to kind of stretch and get loose, and come back in. Final preparations there before we head out.
And we were talking about it a little bit that I love getting over there early and seeing some of the guys that come out really early, but you have to caution the guys. You can't go out too early. You can't leave it out in pregame. You got to take your time. Noon's going to get here eventually.
That's right. Some of them go out there and they're ready to go right away, and next thing you know, they've lost a lot of fluids, and all the hydration they've done is already gone because of that humidity and the heat early in the season. Later in the season, you don't worry about that as much. They kind of got used to the situation, used to the routine, and it's not as hot and maybe a little cooler, so they didn't get loose. But early in the season, you want them to kind of, slow it down a little bit and relax, and it'll get here.
Do you guys have a hydration plan? I mean, you expect these guys to hydrate a certain amount every day?
No question. And we talked to our guys, you can't wait till Friday to do that. You guys start early in the week. You guys start getting your body ready to go play a game. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, not Thursday, Friday.
Right.
So our guys do a great job of that, and they're older guys that have been through situations and know what the heat is like here, so they're getting prepared for that now.
It's got to be a chance, too. The older guys can kind of explain to the younger guys and say, look, if you don't do it this way, you could end up with cramps and that kind of thing on the field. Now, the temperatures aren't expected to be astronomically hot on Saturday, but, high 80s is still warm.
Yeah, it should be a great weather for football, and every day is a great weather for football. So, but really excited about it, and just, excited about being in Dowdy and being in front of a Pirate Nation, and just it should be a great atmosphere.
One of the magical things about football is that you start in August with temperatures near 100 degrees, and you work so hard, and then you end up late in the season, and it gets it gets a little cool out. I remember the Navy game. I don't think I dressed right for the Navy game last year, but it's completely different. It goes through all the seasons in 3 months.
You do. You go from blazing hot in August, and like you said, 100-degree weather where you're just trying to survive out there, even as coaches. And then you get late November where, hey, you better put on a few layers of clothes. But that's what's great about this game.
Yeah.
And you play it in all types of weather, all different places, and it's just a special game.
Didn't talk much about the bowl game from last year. Obviously, there wasn't one. But at the Military Bowl, this team had some of their best practices of the entire season, didn't they?
Yeah, we did. We really did. Once we got up there to D.C. and guys were locked in, felt really good about that game and just the way guys were preparing. And, my heart was broken for those guys that were seniors and didn't get to play their final game. But just the experience of us going up there as a program and as a team, and just having those extra practices for one, going through that experience and just bonding as a team was really special.
Was it one of those things when you first got the word, you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you always knew that in the back of your mind something like that could happen or take place, just because some other bowl games had happened too.
Yeah.
When it really happened, your heart broke for those young men that didn't get a chance to play their last bowl game.
Yeah, that was a shame. But hopefully this Pirate football team will run through the season season, become bowl eligible early in the season, and then just crank it up and get ready for whatever bowl game. But that's a long way down the road. North Carolina State is up first. Let's talk about the Wolfpack before we get you out of here. Devin Leary, of course, the quarterback, and you talked a bit about it a little bit, but one of the keys against any good quarterback is getting them off their game.
Yeah, get him off schedule, get him off off his game a little bit, make him get out of the pocket and scramble a little bit. I think that if he gets to sit in the pocket and he's comfortable back there, then he can make some throws. And he's got some receivers, Devin Carter, 88, who out wide, who's a really special player, and I think he's from the Raleigh area up there. Another transfer, that's another big body, Darrell Jones, the transfer from Maryland. Those are two big targets that he's got. If he's able to sit in the pocket, he'll find those guys, and they got big catch radius, so he's got some weapons out there.
Thomas and Carter combined for 82 catches last year for 1,152 yards and 14 touchdowns. So those are his two go-to guys. And as you said, I think the Maryland transfer, Darrell Jones, is a good one too.
Yeah, he's a special player, and you just mentioned Thayer Thomas. He is. I say he's their version of Tyler Snead. He's probably what makes them go, and when he needs to play, that's who he's going to go to and feel confident about that. And whether it's the screen game, the quick game, down the field, reverse pass, double pass. He was, that type of guy. His brother's on the defense side of the ball, and I think they're a very similar type of player as far as they make them go. And they've got those type of special, like Tyler Snead's the best comparison I can make.
When you look at defensive football early in a game, sometimes you can see a game and the whole structure of that game can be based on a big hit. I remember the Boise State game in the Hawaii Bowl, and there was a big defensive play early for East Carolina, and they kind of catapulted that into having a big lead in that game. And that's one of those things too that you're looking at.
Yeah, you think about the Tulane game for us last year. We had some big hits early in the game, big stops early in the game. And that just kind of set the tempo for that entire football game. So you want to get off to a great start, and a big third down stop, a big turnover, a big hit, and those type of things, just to kind of keep building that confidence and keep saying, "Hey, yeah, we're here to play. We're here to make this thing happen."
On tape, does North Carolina State have the look of a top 10 football team?
They certainly do.
Yeah,
and they look like a top 10 football team, and they played some really good football last year.
I know this East Carolina team maybe weren't disappointed at being picked 6th in the preseason poll, because I think preseason polls are just what they are, but because East Carolina finished 3rd last year. But this is an East Carolina football team that really, you guys probably don't talk about it much, but you're as good as anybody in the American, and you've got to have sights set on, hey, we can win this thing.
Yeah, we talk about our goals and our aspirations in our building, and it's certainly it's not 6th in the conference, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Last year we talked about going to a bowl game and doing those type of things. Now we're talking about, hey, how can we win this conference, and what are the things we got to do to go compete in this conference and try to win a championship. So those are where our goals and our eyes are set on.
And one of those big keys is winning those close games, because college football, it's razor thin between teams a lot of times. And last year you guys were able to win. You fell in a couple of games. I think that you guys left like UCF and thought, hey, we probably should have won that game. But you win those razor thin decisions.
Right, and I think that's where our team grew last year too. Early in the season, the South Carolina, the UCF game.
Yeah.
You like to have those back right now, but later in the season, we beat Navy late in the year, and we beat Memphis late in the year. That, hey, if we had those experiences early in the season, maybe we don't win those games late in the year. So, at least we've been, our guys are back. They've been through those situations. They know how to win close ball games. So excited about that.
Which of the games last year was the most fun for you? Was it Memphis? Was it Navy?
I would say, Memphis was exciting just because
the 2-point conversion.
The 2-point conversion.
You knew what was coming.
Yeah, the kids did too. And played fast and knocked the ball down there. It was a huge play.
Yeah, it was a huge play. And it was a great season last year, and hopefully we've got more good things coming up. East Carolina and North Carolina State. Coach, your final thoughts on the Pirates and the Pack coming up?
Just really excited for game day, and glad it's finally here, and excited not only for our football team, but the city of Greenville and Pirate Nation, and just our program and our universities. It's just a big day.
That's going to be a great, great day. Blake Harrell joining us live in the studio. Thanks so much for coming down. We certainly appreciate it. We'll bug you later on in the season if it's okay.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
Defensive coordinator Blake Harrell, I want to thank him for being on our show today. Also, Dave Doeren, head football coach at North Carolina State. Again, the Pirates in the Pack, 12 noon kickoff coming up on Saturday. That's our show for today. We'll see you back here next week on The Brian Bailey Show.
This has been The Brian Bailey Show, powered by Greenville Utilities, and also brought to you by
Angus Grill, Bostic Sugg Furniture, Bojangles, East Coast Grading, Papa John's. Pepsi, The Rick House, Greenville Utilities, BMS Builders, Seared Chop House, The Gavigan Agency, Taft and Hagler, Tiebreakers, and Greenville Auto World.
Join us next week for another edition of The Brian Bailey Show.